And we're off to the races. I was just saying to Carrie, think back to when there was, think back to when there was cavemen and the consciousness of humanity, which was like millions of years ago, had no observer, no spirituality, no consciousness. It's so hard to believe. And then fast forward to your kids getting driver's license for a spaceship. Like imagine your kids in the future being able to transport themselves without a physical body because they're going to know how to raise their frequency and move. And they'll look back at us like we were the dinosaurs. So I want to first of all put perspective on the word queen, because queen is a timeless word. But when you think back in history, she was the center of the universe. We were just looking at the tarot deck, Carrie and I. And it starts off when the creation begins, after the magician begins with, and a magician was a man or a woman in the old and true days. It was a asexual creature who knew how to beckon in male-female energy. So the magician starts, and the first stop in the tarot deck, the first card, is the high priestess. So all of creation begins with the magician seeking counsel from the priestess, who goes inside, closes her eyes, and receives downloads. And then the next stop is the empress, who is the queen. So if we pay attention to this topic today, come on, baby, light my fire, how to get your self-esteem back, how to get your queen on. She's been here since the beginning of time, and everything in our reality is dependent on the queen. This is definitely a feminine, you know, the chromosomes are both, they're X and X when every single being starts off as a feminine. I think that's so cool. Inside the mother's creative temple in her little chamber called her uterus, everything starts off as the feminine. So all of creation begins with women. And in order to do this relationship today, we're talking about queenhood. Your femininity, whether you're a man or a woman listening to this, has to be put in perspective that what were the cavemen running around seeking? Queens and women. And what will the spaceships be looking around for is how to get their queens gold, jewels, beauty, food, ecstasy, children. The queen rules the roost. And it's the first time it's legally okay to say that. If we were in the Middle East, where women are shunned because the power is so great, they're too afraid to look at them without getting distracted because women carry the power. So I feel bad about this because I think men are being, the pendulum is swinging so hard towards the feminine principle ruling this universe that there's a neglect going on to the male side. At some point in the future, there's going to be a men's movement. And what's going to happen at that point is the men are going to start saying, we want access to our feminine just the way the women do, and stop separating us because of our ding dong. Like, don't let the ding dong distinguish us. How about if we let male and female have a level playing field? But that can't happen because the pendulum has to swing all the way over, having had women being oppressed for so long. God was a male. Every king, every doctor, every artist, every writer, every leader, every policeman, every fireman, every official, every principal, they were all men. And even in our pronouns, we talked about humankind being mankind. It wasn't man and womankind. Everything about our language was so male for the last 2,000 years. So now the pendulum, whoa! Now I changed it from his story, which was history, to her story. And that's what astrology is. Astrology is her story of finally coming into the temples where she could put on her astrology cap and be a woman. We were not allowed to be astrologers. There was no such thing as a woman rabbi until 50 years ago. There was, in the Jewish religion, there was no ordained rabbi that was a woman. I mean, that's intense to think. It's 10 seconds in where the pendulum swung over. So now the good news is women are taking over the universe. And we have to be compassionate because we're bossy and we're ballsy and we're pushy and we're know-it-alls, and we like the way the sheets fit in, the pillows get done, and the food gets made, and the salt gets put on the table, and the silverware gets put away. And oh my God, women are controlling the universe. We decide whether or not we're going to make love, whether we're going to have a baby, whether we're getting married, when we're getting divorced. Women, 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 women. It's just true. So, come on, baby, light my fires of the woman. Yes, we are collectively, especially in this community of astrology, We are a group of women. I mean, how many people are in my school? I'm crooked. How many people are in the school are women? And how many are passionately gathering their forces? Because the school, you know this, that the doors are opening for the school next week. Is that right, Carrie? The actual cart opens on what date?
In a couple of weeks, August 16th.
I'm so excited. I keep thinking it's happening. On August 16th, we're going to invite all these women, because how many of you in this room, anyone a man in here? I'd like to see you write, it's me, it's me. The poor guys, it's so sad. Patricia, how many men are still listening? The man is not without the woman, nor the woman without the man. How great it will be when we find balance. Terlin, that is the entrance of the new age. We can't hear you if you talk, Rebecca. Don't start talking to the computer, but we can read your chat in the chat room. It's a man's world. It was an old story. So let's talk about this. So here comes, it's your self-confidence. Now let's just go universal on this. Here's the dilemma on our planet. Deep in the unconscious, and this is all part of the astrology class because this is water. I'm going to be talking about water for a moment. Is a deep premise that says, I don't know how I got here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I don't know how they gave me those parents. I don't know how I didn't get the partner or I did get the partner. I don't know why my dog died. I am so confused. So deep in the unconscious of the human condition is this feminine, because the unconscious is a feminine principle. It's the reflective or the absorbing, or the unconscious is the feeling body, is a deep wound that everybody has, which is, I don't really feel very comfortable here in my body. And I feel a little awkward and I don't really know why I'm here. And I feel a little bit like I shouldn't be here. And I certainly shouldn't take up too much space. And I certainly don't feel very successful. So yeah, Amber, got it. So what happens in the collective unconscious for every person in this room is you're carrying a wound in the water of your body, which is the universal element that transcends all of humankind. We are mostly water. The earth is mostly water, and it should be called, look behind my head. It should be called water. This planet shouldn't be called earth. It should be called water. But because the unconscious mind lives with this suffering, like I feel bad, I feel scared, I don't feel loved, I feel unwanted, I'm not sure anybody really sees me, I'm not even sure what I'm doing here, I think I'm getting it wrong, I'm certainly not very pretty, and I don't think anyone's ever going to love me. That's what the unconscious mind suffers from in what I call dirty water. So you can see the queen, now let's just take a moment, that's the peasants, that's the valley, that's where the normal people live with this low grade, ouch. On the higher level in royalty, I'm entitled, I'm special, I call it special. I'm special, I have my own wealth, I have my own servants, people clean up after me, I'm entitled to being able to sit in front of the bus, I'm entitled to own the bus, I walk in the room and everybody has to leave the room, I am like, wow. So on the other side is this unconscious, is the dark side, the super ego, or the identification of royalty, or the queen, as we're going to call it today, come baby, light my fire. There's a misinterpretation of ego that looks very ugly and very arrogant and very, what is the word, entitled. And that's not what I'm talking about when I say be a queen for the day. So let's distinguish. There's the dirty unconscious mind that suffers from an unworthiness and a lack of embodiment and a feeling of being mistakenly dropped off here. Then there's this self-aggrandizing, I love that word, self-aggrandizing, Amber. Then there's this ego-centered maniac who feels like they are entitled and special and worthy of all, and therefore no one else should get it. That's the two extremes. In the middle of the land, where you and I are talking today, is a healthy version of your feminine. And if you can use astrology and my class, the level 1, to reawaken the part of you that's excited. So that's what every Cancer says that, Patricia. Every water sign feels like they shouldn't be here. But if I can instill in you in this astrology class and in our community and in our beautiful network that we have here on webinars and Facebook Lives and in my school, Applied Astrology, then what happens is you change the matrix. You change the imprint. You are a healthy queen. So let's describe the healthy queen. So the healthy queen She wakes up in the morning and she's in her spiritual self. The first thing she does is she does a prayer. She's in gratitude. She's in humbleness of being alive. She looks around at her temple and she hears for her sound of her children's voice, or the breathing of her husband, or the breathing of her lover, or she's just paying attention to being present time with the awareness, get ready, to bless. Because the ultimate role of the feminine at her highest level, when the playing field is level, is she's here to bless and to nurture and to give you this wonderful feeling that we're so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here today, that we've just reached almost 250 people in a room, and that you want to listen to the queen who is training you to be a queen. My level of queenhood, it's not just one queen. There's a circle of us, and every woman in the room passes the hat. They pass the crown, and they say, we are all here to be, in different levels, queens in training. Now, I happen to be at the sweet age of 75 getting better at it, because I've given myself as a soul evidence to prove that I'm entitled to wake up in the morning and look at my kids and look at my house and look at you guys and look at my world and say, this is my reality. I have generated the consciousness that's allowed me to know the formula, the laws of creation. And therefore, me and my high priestess in front of me and me as the empress, we have been able to manifest. I love that. So, I'm 75, just kidding. Okay, so here's how it goes. It's very simple. If you assume the role right now, every one of you listening, that you're a queen in training, you're a demigod in training, you wouldn't be interested in astrology and you wouldn't be in this room if there wasn't some part of you that was desperate to learn the art of how to take your life into your own hands and stop complaining and stop whining and stop arguing with fate and stop feeling like someone's better than you and comparing yourself and all the stuff that the peasants do because they look up to the queen as separate. No, you're standing next to the queen. We just leveled the playing fields. And you're now identifying yourself as someone who is able and willing and capable of choosing the powers of the laws of creation. So law number one is to be awake. And you can ask yourself, being awake simply means this. It's one word. My observer is on. I'm watching Debra right now doing a webinar. I see there's several hundred people in this room. I feel all of your love. I love all of you. My observer is smiling at me. I'm smiling at them, and I'm neutrally observing that, wow, we've come a long way, baby. From the caveman to the women's suppression, to getting the vote, to being online, talking about astrology in public and feeling totally safe. There's no witches getting their heads cut off. There's no oppression of telling me what to wear. No one told me what time to get up today. No one told me what. We are so free. So first step, the observer kicks in, looks at you as a woman and says, look at your freedom. You have time right now to be doing a webinar with Debra Silverman. You live a life in 2017 where you have the freedom to push a button that you bought this computer, and the computer gives you the rights to listen to anything you want. You know how much freedom we're basking in? Okay, so this eclipse that's coming up, which we're going to talk about today, is really significant on August 7th in light of this conversation because it's about Leo, the queen. So back to level playing field, the observer's on. You become aware that you're a queen in training, and your job now is to find out what your taste buds are, because every queen has a specialty. There's the queen of arts, and there's the queen of music, and there's the queen of food, there's the queen of relationship, there's the queen of sexuality, there's the queen of metaphysics, there's the queen of the news, of politics, of orators, of writers. There's a million different queens out there, and you're going to discover, based on the chart that you are, what was your gift this life. And then you give yourself self-ordination. I am the queen of astrology. And that used to sound like, that's so conceited. How can you call yourself a queen? There's only those that are, no, now I'm leveling the playing field. I'm saying to you, you can be the queen of astrology in your circle, in your house, you're the queen. You're the queen of healing, Angela. And your observer's on, Valerie. I love this. Angel. The queen of your house, Vanessa, you're the queen of your house. There's no one else in the domain of your house that gets to determine when the lights come on, when the air conditioning goes off, when the heat comes on, when the doors are going to be clean, when the windows get cleaned, when the fridge gets cleaned. It's definitely okay, Joseph, for you to be here. We're so happy you're here. Take the domain of your kingdom into your own hands, the king or the queen, and pretend it's now safe for you to say, I'm the queen. It was scary before. It was dangerous. If you were the queen, you were the perfect candidate to get attacked. Queens got attacked because people were jealous of them, or they were stepped away and they didn't want to walk with them because they were so, higher up the hierarchy. We're leveling the playing field. I'm the queen of massage therapy. God, it feels so good. Off with your head. That was the meanest thing. Queen of everything. So can we just first introduce from the observer's point of view that you are entitled to be at the dominion of your reality, to be at the sovereign role of the queen, of the king, that you are in your room, in your office with your computer, in your domain, you are the queen. And you answer to your commands that come from on high, because every queen works for the hierarchy or the aristocracy, which is basically the invisible force field that's talking through me right now. I'm here to serve them. I answer to a higher power. I love that, Patricia. And if you can just say your queen is in service to your higher power, then take the right role and you are the queen. So how do we light your fire? It's only exciting to be alive if you're in charge and you know how fun it is to be a queen and wake up in the morning and it's Christmas every day because you're entitled by your own domain, by your own right, to eat the healthy food or eat the unhealthy food, to go on the walk or stay home and cuddle, to decide whether you're going to read or whether you're going to write. But if you're sleepwalking and your observer's not on and you have no awareness about what your gifts are, it's very limiting. Queen of the bodies. I'm putting you guys right here. Queen of this amazing space. The queen of creative jailbreak. What does that mean, Fiona? So this is the news. Step number 1. You become aware that you can neutralize the word queen and assume that's your role. And when someone says, you're the what? You took what seminar? You listened to who talk? That's so arrogant to say you're a queen. You can say, Mom, you are too. I'm leveling the playing field. I'm inviting everyone into this kingdom. I want to stop the hierarchy at this level and see if we can't acknowledge. Now, to the degree that you're good at this and you're not coming from arrogance, let's distinguish. The heartfelt queen that is so irresistible and so lovable, what does she do? First of all, she takes care of her body. So I want to ask you, when you wake up in the morning and it's your turn to identify what to do with your day, whether it's going to meditate, whether it's going to be to eat healthy food, have a cup of tea or some lemon water, or have a cup of coffee and put in the ghee because you want to make it healthy, what is your queen's first commitment? To take care of her higher self, better known as her boss, which gives us always the higher realm is saying, please refine. So let's talk about why the queen refines. If I'm going to be a conduit for energy, said the queen, if I've been hired or I've been ordained or it's come down for me, then I have a court. And if the court is looking at me because I'm the queen, and every time you walk in the grocery store or to the bank or you go to your kid's school and you assume the role that you're the one there to bless them, you're the one there to hold the energy that's spiritually awake, you're the one that's got your observer on and you're noticing yourself with a little grin, it's just a small little smile going, God, I'm doing so good, then everyone watches the queen. And it's not from a place of being wanting anything from her or being jealous of her or being, because that's what used to happen. It's just a place of wanting to sit next to her, and she sits next to them and she offers them the blessing of listening. The queen in her true self has not much to say. She's not the king commanding. She's the queen blessing by her very presence. She's got diamonds on her head and diamonds on her shoes, and she's got her royalty, and she woke up in the morning all dressed up because she knows it's her time to bless the court. How about you? Do you know it's your right now? Not every day. Sometimes we're just peasants and we wear our pajamas and we go to sleep. Never forget your invisible crown. Amber, you're on a roll. You want to know what you're the queen of, Sarah, Ramona? That's going to be your call. You're going to decide, here I know that I am the queen of, one of the things I'm the queen of is health food. Debra Silverman, I have such a high value of health food. I have such a high value of eating foods that are from the organic land that I live on, whether I'm in Colorado or here, to go to a farmer's market as a queen and to pick out the food and put it into my basket and then to come home. The queen in the old-fashioned days never had the rights to get her hands on the dirt. She didn't have the right to go cook her own food. I really learned this when I was being able to hang around with Sting, watching wealthy people, because of course they have a court and they have cooks and they have servants and it's beautiful. That's their right. They are entitled. But I realized very quick that my definition of queen was that I got to do my own. And now this is up to your decision. I like touching the ground. I like touching the fruit. I like washing the dishes. There's some value. Now that's not the normal queen. So I'm going to invite you to rewrite queen right now. Are you with me? The queen is your decision, one, to turn on your observer, and then what's number two? To make a choice. Here's the formula. Here's the law of creation. You wake up inside the dream and you realize, whoa, I am here as a free will agent to choose my life. I'm awake now. I realize I don't have to be a victim, number one. Number two, I'm making a choice today. I'm waking up and I'm going to honor my body today. I'm going to take care of my temple, the Queen's temple, the castle I live in. And I look around and go, oh my God, I've done nothing but just messed everything up. Like I've been living like a peasant and I forgot that I was a queen. Beep, 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 beep. So then I'm going to stop and I'm going to call in my forces, my kids, my sister, my friend, and say, can you guys help me? I have been living in a mess. I just realized I was a queen. I took this webinar today and I realized my office is a mess. Or my clothes have been sitting in the hamper for 2 weeks and it's disgusting. The queen would never let that happen, but you've got to be identified, one, with the observer, like, uh-oh, and then two, the choice to say, I'm choosing to take care of my body, my temple, my castle, and I'm creating sacred space. Magic happens. Okay, this is what you're going to learn in astrology. You have a propensity. Some of you love to clean. It's the easiest thing in the world. In fact, that's all you want to do. Organize, make your list. Let's guess what element that is, kids. Go ahead, guess. They have their little list, they have their little cleaning supplies, and they spend their whole day, yes, thank you, it's Virgo and it's Earth, Malika. And they spend their whole time wanting to be in the clean role, not even caring if they ever get it done. They just love that goal. Some of you are messy. Guess what signs are messy? Some people have a little piles everywhere, and they don't put things away. It would be air, by the way, air and fire. Those two signs don't put things away. Fire isn't too much of a rush. They're throwing things around. And air signs, they have too many piles. They have too much going on. They don't have the time to sit down and organize. So if you know, and you'll learn this in the class, if you know that your propensity is, but if you're water or earth, water people have to have sacred space. It makes them crazy when things aren't where they belong. And by the way, Amanda, there's Virgos that are messy. So it's a method to their madness. It doesn't have to be neat to be a Virgo. So let's take care of that right now. Pilot license, LOL. So if you're a mess, I'm going to ask you right now, look at the Queen and ask her, what do we need to do in this eclipse that will be a marker for me that from now on, I'm going to, it's like a New Year's resolution. So from now on, I am going to stop eating sugar. From now on, I am going to tell my husband what I feel. I'm going to practice my words with my feeling. I'm going to actually say out loud, I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling nervous. Like articulate. If you're not if you're one of those ones that does this all day long. Quite the opposite. You're going to find what your missing element is. You can use the book. You know my book, The Missing Element. Or you can take the class. The cool thing about the class is every single student that comes into the school, your chart is brought to me. So let's say we have 200, 300 students that come to the school this term, because it's only twice a year. That's as much, we have to turn people away. We can't go past that number because we have so many mentors. And the mentor and I look at your chart. We're going to sit down just like this on the computer, and she and I are going to consider your chart. And I'm going to say, uh-oh, this person's missing Earth. I bet that she's got a messy house. And then you're going to take your first step in this class, in the 6-week class. We're going to be your instigator. We're going to be your cheerleader to say, please take your queen. Get your crown out, sister. You're a mess. Or put your crown away. Stop shining it up. And get out of the house, Miss Earth. We're done cleaning now. You got to go out and party. I want your crown off and I want your dress on. Should be arriving soon, Jenny Kelly. I wish I could come to class. You can, Patricia. You can come back to class again. Okay, so it goes like this. If your missing element, let's just do it quickly, is water, and you haven't cried in 3 years, and you haven't had sex in 12, and you've noticed yourself becoming really crispy critter, and you're listening to this and you're feeling really sad because you're secretly thinking, I'll never be a queen, I'm emotionally broken, and I'll never get healed. That's because you don't know how to take care of meditation and stillness. And on my website, hello, there's free meditations. Do you know that? Does everybody know that? You can go on my website, Debra Silverman Astrology, and you click under products. And there's free downloadable meditations, and they'll teach you how to get your emotional body to believe you're a queen. Because all you water people, you think I'm full of it right now. Like, it's okay for you, Debra. Debra's a famous astrologer. I love when I hear that. It's so funny. I don't think of myself that way. I think of myself as a passionate crazy who all I really wanted to do was turn you on like a radio to finding out your observer and then your choice. So 1 came the observer, 2 came the choice, and then 3 is sign up for the class. No, just kidding. You have to take the class in order to wake up. Patricia, it's good when life throws you off. I've been trying to make myself do the organization I need to do. I'm missing water. No water. Francine Fields. You know, this is why I so believe in these classes. And this happened to everyone from Malika to Miranda to Carrie to anyone in the class that's here today listening that's one of our members. Once you're part of this tribe and you get excited, because one of my gifts, as you probably have noticed, is come on, baby, light my fire. I'm on fire. And you know why I'm on fire? Because I'm in love with astrology. And every time I watch one of you light up like a Christmas tree because you fell in love with yourself or you gave yourself back, I can't even tell you what it feels like. I just had a client today, she's a double Scorpio sitting in my backyard. She came all the way from somewhere far away to have a reading. And basically she told me that her family was a very serious case of rednecks, that they all had been to prison and they all had tattoos and piercings, and that her sister had been, you know, pregnant at the age of 14 and then 16, and they had these kids running around. It was just such a weird story. But she got out of that story and she took on a whole other life and has never looked back. And I got to say to her, guess what? Queen, you are the queen of your universe, and you just self-ordained yourself, and don't look back because your family all are peasants. But that has nothing to do with you. So then I got to like, give me 5, like woo, 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 woo. And then she left going, oh my God, I feel so much better. Why? Because I am the initiator of the queens. You know, I once went to you're gonna love this story, to a New Year's party in Hawaii. This was probably like 10 years ago, maybe more. And there were these beautiful, it was at the Sheraton, there's beautiful young Hawaiian girls all dressed in their best outfits. And I made it my job to walk up to every one of them and whisper, you're a priestess in training. You're a goddess in training. That's what I said. You're a goddess in training and you're doing really well. You look great tonight. Who goes up to women and tells them how pretty they are? That's a queen leveling the playing field and telling other queens you're beautiful. I whispered to all of them, just quietly when they weren't looking. No one knew I was reading to all of them. I said, you're a priest, you're a goddess in training and you're looking so good tonight. Try it. If everyone had someone to whisper, so true. I lost that one. Oh my God, Kathy, I'm literally on fire. I burned my head with a curling iron and then wore 2 tight shoes. You're just kidding, right, Kathy? That was really funny. Okay, back to, I'm whispering in your ear, you're a queen in training and you're doing really well because you're here today. And you came onto this webinar because you wanted me to remind you to get out of your stupid story of poor me. Leo at its worst is all about complaining. If you look around, the first thing you're going to do, let's do it together. What's the step number 1? Step number 1 is you have got to become aware of I'm waiting for you guys to write it in the chat room. Observer. Thank you, Lisa White. You turn on your observer, first things first. And what does that look like? You start paying attention. Oh, I'm sitting in a chair. I've got a fan on. There's a blue picture behind me. I see myself in I just neutralize right now. Turn your observer on. Oh, there's Carrie sitting in her office. She's got her computer on. Oh, there's Miranda sitting in her house. So you just turn your observer on. Number 2, make a choice. I'm consciously choosing right now to say to Debra, yes, you're right. I want to own my crown. I want to own my queen. I want my self-esteem back. like the woman this morning. I'm leaving my past behind me by bypass, and I'm entering the here and now with a choice to activate my awakened state that says, I'm here to make a difference. If every single day you said that, proof. Hey there, whatever your name is, give me the crown. How do you turn the observer on, Amber asks. It's a very conscious exercise that I don't ever feel like I'm masterful at, because when I get reactions, like yesterday somebody wrote me an email that was so peculiar. First she apologized, and then she took back the apology, and then she said she was so sorry, and then she wasn't so sorry, and then I realized that I was in this dialogue because I was captured by the story. My observer wasn't on. If my observer were on at the beginning, I would have gone, oh, because my friend said to me, she's apologizing partially. But to really apologize when you've really hurt somebody, you have to completely own it. This is one of the arts that Colette Baron Reed and I really mastered. I was on the radio show today with her on Hay House. When you've made a mistake to someone and you really, 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 really know you were in the wrong, you don't say to them, and by the way, you've done it too. You say, I am really sorry, and I don't know how to get forgiven, but I'd really like to unpack this, and I want to hear what you have to say and where your hurt was, so I don't defend myself, but I actually hear you. And I've made mistakes in my life where I can't believe what I did. Like, it makes me so mad that I got it so wrong, and I have to sit with it. Just happened recently. I was here and with my good sweetheart Larry, and I said something to him, and I saw I hurt his feelings, and then the next day I wrote to him and said, I'm so sorry, that was so rude of me. And then when he came in front of the person that I had done it, and I did it again and said, I'm so sorry, I apologized again. And then he made fun of me. He was like, he imitated everything that I had done, which was like, ew, like adding salt to, like I was already embarrassed. It took a lot of courage to say I was sorry, but he had the right to make fun of me because I had hurt him. And that's when my observer kicked in. And I was like, just keep going, Deb. Don't say, don't hurt. I could have gotten right into that. We're so retarded. We're so emotionally retarded. That's an okay word to word use. It's politically correct to call yourself emotionally retarded when you know your human is activated and there's no observer, you lost choice, there's no free will, and you certainly don't have any compassion for yourself or the other. So then once your observer's on, Amber, and I realized what I had done, then I just say to myself about what happened with Larry or what happened with that woman, I just say, Deb, it's just part of the story. As soon as you can get back to neutral, back to the playing field, as soon as we level the playing field, it's so honest to be able to, it's a practice. Patty Meyer, please read the book. Thank you, Patty. Thank you for all those capital letters. So what happens in the Queen of the Day program? You become your own initiate. You initiate yourself. You are the officiant of the Queen ceremony. So take yourself shopping. If you want to finish this webinar, go buy a small crystal or go buy a beautiful pair of earrings. And every time you wear them, they symbolize the Queen. And you begin to pretend with yourself. It's a pretend game. I'm the Queen for the day. And then as time goes on, you're going to feel more and more and more comfortable. And my whole thing this lifetime, and I see it because I have famous friends who have lots of Leo, and I have an offensive response to some Leos, not as I love them, but in my thoughts. Don't want Debra ever to be that person that thinks she's better than, because I can feel my arrogance. I can see where I say things that are stupid and I have Tourette's. Yeah. All I want to say to you is 5:30 in Toronto, Patricia. Yeah, I know, not my progressed moon, Malika, my progressed sun. My progressed sun for the next 29 years is in Leo. I've been 29 years a Cancer, but now my progressed sun is moving into Leo. And for the next, oh my God, I don't want to go into details, astrology, but any of you that study astrology, you know how significant the progressed moon is. And mine is in Gemini, Malika, which is why I talk so much. But the progressed sun next month, for the first time, will be 1 degree of Leo. And I'm about to work on these films. And just so you know, after the school is done, we are beginning our membership called the Secret Service Agents. And we are going to collect people like you guys to come to webinars every month where we talk about the practices of putting on the tiara, putting on the earrings, waking up in the morning. Look, I want one of you, at least one of you, to say to me, you know what, Deborah, you inspired me. When I hung up, I went and did the dishes. I went and did the laundry, and I realized I was queen for the day, and I was setting up my temple, not from a place of, oh, I hate doing this, but from a place of, you know what, I am going to stand up in my life and make my kingdom, my palace, my castle, my temple, my home. Patty, boost. I'm so glad you're planning on taking level 2 and level 3, Patty. We're going to be looking for you. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's just talk before I finish. Is there any questions that you want me to jump in on? I'm the queen of couples readings today, Melissa. Oh, that's a really good thing. Angela is on her way to level 3. Anything, I talk to so much, just like you. Oh, that's great. Sharon's here. Sharon Lear.
Deborah, I saw a question come in earlier about the eclipse, and specifically they said, will the eclipse still affect us if we can't see it?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's already affecting us. I feel it's so strong. This first eclipse on August 7th, during the full moon, when the sun and moon are opposite, the sun is in Leo and the moon is in Aquarius, and it lasts. This one's going to be a marker for all of you listening. There's almost 300 people here. Listen to me. I'm inviting you to take the astrology class or take, like in Sharon's case, or any of you advanced people who are doing astrology already, take this full moon and say to yourself, I am going to make a blessing to my own chart. As the queen of my chart, as the queen of my personality type, I am choosing to bless myself with respect on my body and my urges and I'm going to do something really significant during this particular eclipse on August 7th, this full moon, to celebrate myself. So what will that look like? I'm going to tell, you know what's a great exercise? To write a love letter to your husband, to your wife, to your friend, and then do the same to yourself. Like, dear Deborah, I'm so proud of you. You've done such hard work. You've done nothing but try to give and give and give, and you are suddenly seeing your fruit. And I want to acknowledge how much you've taken care of me and respected my body, and how much you do your best to eat the right things and really stay on top of your health. Thank you so much, Deborah. This is what I want you to do during this a note to yourself. But this particular, oh, that's so cool, Tracy. This particular full moon, from the Leo to the Aquarius, from the astrology, if you're interested in astrology, you look over at your uniqueness and you go, I really want to acknowledge, Deb, that you have an incredible sense of music and how you listen to it so deeply and you let it run through your veins. And I'm so happy to be inside your body. It's like you could write a letter to yourself. April's doing her first webinar about soulmates. Ooh, that's so exciting. Perfect timing, April. You are your own soulmate. You cannot do this lifetime. You come in alone and you leave alone. And when you finish here, you know what I really think? I have this theory about the queen, that when she can stand apart from the king, when she can stand in her own right without anyone around, this is really the high priestess. I have such a draw to the priestess. When she can stand in her own right to her high priestess and say, I know spiritually I've devoted myself to God, goddess, life, angels, guides, spirit, call it what you want. I've really done my work. I've listened to these webinars. I've read the books. I've tried to be in my relationships really honest. I've served people. I've loved on them. I've cuddled them. I've loved the quality. Anything you can do to bow to the part of you that is so lovable, that's what I want you to do. Are you up for that game? Yes. That's so funny. Promise, said Patricia. I'm in, said Lana. It's my birthday. That's so cool, Kathy. Thank you. Pamela Firebog. Terilyn said yes. We're not meant to stay alone, Rebecca. Rebecca, you're not meant to stay alone, but you come in alone and oh, there's Sue Williams. You come in alone and you leave alone. So to the degree that you can do this to yourself, like that's the ultimate. You can't, every incarnation, ready? Every incarnation is determined by the generation of love, of what will come next. And I think half of why I've been so lucky this life is because I love Miranda. I love Carrie. I love Patricia. I have this, I'm like, someone said to me yesterday, what is wrong with you? Well, she didn't say it like that, but she said, if the answer to the question is love, every question the answer is love, and someone's bugging the shit out of you, you got to go work on that. You can't live like that. If you're feeling no love, if you're all by yourself and you live alone and your reading and writing is all on the internet and you're not engaged, you can't hear your voice, something's wrong. You go find the neighbor and say, can I go get you some groceries? You go give yourself a task to love somebody. It's so simple. Trudy Muffet. I love that name. I'm bowing to you, Martine. Just go find someone to give to. The queen is in service to her people. And her people are the neighbors and the dog next door, not just your owning of your people, but everywhere you go, how can I help? I love the waitresses. I love the opportunity to be able to say, what sign are you? That's what happens when you play astrology too much. The queen is coming out of exile. Sandy, the quickest way to get out of depression is to say, who can I help? That's why we work. I would work at McDonald's if I had to. If I didn't have money, I would go work at McDonald's just for the practice of seeing if I could do this exercise. Turn on my observer, make a choice, take the astrology class. Turn on my observer, make a choice. Just start with those two. It just every day I would look around and say, because people, you know what, you guys, that queen at her worst, ready, is lazy. And lazy means you just play on the internet and you play on Facebook and you play on your phone. You know, there's this big joke now that they get to the pearly gates, Peter, and God pulls him aside and he says, Peter, what is going on with these people? Everybody's standing there doing this. And there's nothing in their hand. And Peter goes, I don't know, it was something about those phones or something. Everyone's so addicted to their phones, they end up in heaven doing this. You can't sit in on the new courses unless you've taken one, April. Anybody can take one. Yes, so if you've been in my class before, you can always come back for free. And if you want to learn about astrology, there are some scholarships. So I'm looking at Beth, who's housebound due to her disabilities. There are some scholarship classes, but I'm not supposed to tell because everybody calls writing in. But what the first thing I want you to consider is, if you're interested, can we put the apprenticeship? There it is. Apprenticeship at DebraSilvermanAstrology.com. It is an unbelievable change of game plan. How do you qualify? Well, you have no money. We want to see your tax returns, your bank accounts, and we want to hear the neighbors tell us what you have in your recycling basket so there's not a lot of bottles. Because if you use your money for alcohol, you can't be in the scholar. Just kidding. Me. Can you talk about the eclipse? What does it bring? It's going to bring for you particularly, Lori, it's going to bring anyone with Aquarius or Leo. It's going to bring a very strong energetic of forcing you to look at your uniqueness and find some peace, everyone. But the one that's really important, which we're not talking about today, is the new moon solar eclipse, August 21st. Because when the sun and the moon are together, it's at 28 degrees Leo. We're going to do that at a different talk. But so the answer to your question, Lori Adato, is it's going to really activate and call forward you to make a marker in the sand about your uniqueness and say, you know what? This is my queen's energy and this is what I want and I'm going to stand up. Now, it's not being bossy and pushy because you don't need to. The queen doesn't command from her space by asking. She commands by her space by role modeling. So when I eat well and take good care of myself, I get well experienced by my energy. My energy is positive, my energy is strong, and then people want to help me. Patricia, my head is nodding. What will the eclipse bring for you, Mark? That's what you got to go look in your chart. The next thing you're going to do in your chart is go look at, here's a question. Where does that full moon in Aquarius hit? So is it on an angle? Is it on the 4th to the 10th? Is it on the 2nd to the 8th? Is it on the 1st to the 7th? Go find out what house that full moon activates on that eclipse, and that's going to give you a big clue. And pay attention to where the moon is, because it's the full moon. That's the activation point. I was just kidding about the tax returns, Angel. You're taking care of your 93-year-old father, which is so honorable. I started playing poker. Rebecca, what does that got to do? Yeah, the short answer is to be eligible for a scholarship, there's going to be something you have to write. You got to really mean it. It's a big deal. It's we're giving away, but you got to pay a little bit too. It's not complete scholarship. What if the full moon eclipse is on your own moon, Amber? So back to Lori Adato's question. Amber, you look at your full moon in Aquarius and you say to yourself, where's my uniqueness? How comfortable am I? And am I owning my queen? Am I standing in the presence of my own energy? Am I really being commanding? And therefore, am I serving the other? Stop taking and start giving.
Deb, do you want to look at those charts? Do we have time for that?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, let me pull
Watch the queens. We got some queens here. Wow, good for you, Patty. She said she took level 1 and it helped her out of her depression. I love that, Patty. The full moon is in my sun sign, said Kathy Wallace. Well, then you're really going to want to pay attention to your energy during that. Do it. Oh, you guys, just do a prayer during August 9th before you go to bed. Send out prayers. It's a perfect time for the angels. Falling in love with my fate. Falling in love with my fate. Falling in love with my fate. Here we have Princess Kate. Here's a queen. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. So now this is a person, look at this chart. She has a perfect T-square. Her moon is on top of the chart. Look at that. She's got a moon at the very top of the chart with her north node, which is suggesting in this life her fame is coming out of her mothering. And we look at her and her children and we watch her mother and we're all in awe of her role modeling for mother. Then we look at her rising sign Libra and her soul with Mars and her Saturn there. She's such a great example of relationship. And then we look at her Capricorn, which is the third point of her T-square, and we see it's in the 4th house of family. She's a Capricorn family. She's a royal family. That's hysterical. What a perfect chart for a princess. And she role models motherhood. Look at the top of the chart. Her queenship roles models a kind mom and someone who really, really is doing relationships. She's Libra rising, Mars in Libra, Saturn in Libra, Pluto in Libra. That's why she's so nice. Okay, and here we have one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Maya Angelou, a queen. So now Maya Angelou is a poet. First of all, she has Mercury conjunct Venus in Pisces. And have you ever heard her speak her poetry? Have you ever read her poetry in the 8th house? Oh my God, she's such a Pisces in the 8th house. What is Pisces? It's a poet. And what is the 8th house but sexuality and the depth and such powerful, deep voice she had with that lovely Leo rising. She was such a queen. Now she had queen energy. And then she has the sun in Aries conjunct Jupiter. She was just a bigger than life personality. I feel like I knew her. And look at her T-square, you guys. Go ahead, Carrie. So she has sun opposite. You always look for the big red line in the middle. The sun is opposite the moon. She's born under a full moon. Of course she was. From Libra, the poet, the artist, to Aries, the independent woman that let her out of the cage. How did that name of that book? The Caged. Let the bird out of the cage. And then Pluto in Cancer, and the release of her whole chart was Capricorn in the 5th house. She had to use her royal Capricorn energy in the 5th house of telling people what truths were. The cage bird sings. Oh my God, did I love Maya. Why do I feel like I knew her? I bet everybody does. Okay, who's next? Oh, and here's another one I'm in love with. Michelle Obama. She has a very strong 10th house. Isn't that funny? Look where her sun is. On the very top of the chart. See that where the MC is in the very, very top of the chart? If you go up there, that's called the midheaven. That's the zenith of the sky. That's where you, when you're born, what was right above your head. Right now, if you point to the top of the sky where you're living, that will tell us what's in the 10th house right at this minute. So she has sun on the midheaven in Capricorn. Of course she was royalty. Of course she was a president's wife. She had sun. Of course she was. See, if I would have seen this chart when she was a kid, I would have said, this girl is going to be famous. And Taurus rising, she loved gardening.
Sorry to say that I don't know her birth time, so that might be
Well, I
all.
want to pretend it was noon. I just love that story. Do we have to change that story? It made me so happy. Oh, lie to me, lie to me. Anyway, we're going to put it there because she's Taurus. Let's just pretend it's true. And she has moon in Pisces. She's such a compassionate girl. Okay, give me someone whose time we can get accurate, because that won't work. Even though I'm in love with you, Michelle Obama. I want to be a Capricorn. Oprah. I do chart rectification, Diana Bishop, but it takes me a lot of work. Better to find an astrologer who loves to do it. Here we have Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Sag. It's so fun. She's such a crazy chart. And if she is a double Sag, if it's true, because I've heard different birth times, if she's double Sag, wouldn't that explain why she expands on a regular basis? But she's got a grand trine in air. See that big triangle in air, you guys? See that big? Those are 3 planets that were all 120 degrees apart. Literally one leg of a triangle, and they're all in air signs. And air rules what? Who knows what air rules? And what is Oprah's very great fame in this life? Communication, books. She's the book queen. Talkie, grand trine and air. Let me tell you all the books to read and what we all should be reading, and let's all make sure we're in community. Yes, you guys got it. That she's a queen, not for the day. She's a queen for this whole lifetime. I feel like I know her too. Okay, you guys, that was it. Freebies. We're going to have a membership where in the future, you're going to have to pay $22 a month to have me do this. La, 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 la. Look at that cute haircut that I got. What do you think, guys? This is my queen for the day. This is my Leo. I went to my normal color. This is my natural color. I progressed on Leo. I may as well tell everybody what's going on with me because I seem to tell everybody everything anyway. Okay. Thank you so much, Carrie and Miranda. Thank you for being here, Malika and Patricia Eastwood, and who else was in there? And Sharon Lear and all of you guys. It was so beautiful to have you with me. Sue Williams, I'm so glad you're back. I've been wondering how you were doing. Mark, we got a token boy in here. Martina. Look, everybody's saying bye-bye now. Linda, Elaine, Lauren, Noel, April, Rebecca, Tracy, Clear, Robin, Jasmine, Diane Miller, Amanda, Loretta, Sarah, Lori Adato, I love you, Lori, Adriana and Jane, Nicole. It's like fun. This is like when we were kids. Catherine, Noel, I'm doing attendance. Here, Amanda, Ash, Yolanda, Natalie, Sarah, Brave, Nadine and Brenda, Diane, Nicole, Sandra, Karen Taylor, Lisa White, Claire Nonan, Rebecca Noel, Francine Fields, all the way from Mary Carlson. Oh, Wanda. I love the name Wanda. Okay, you guys, you rock, girlfriend. You guys rock. Thank you so much for being interested in astrology. I can't even tell you. Was that Michelle Watson I just saw? It's so cool that you guys are actually in this class learning how to be a queen and put your hat on. Romper room, remember that? Oh, that's right what I was thinking about, Kathy. It's so funny. God, that was funny. You inspire me, you little queen, Lisa White. Why can't we be queens for the day, for the month, for the year, for the rest of our lives? Who made that up? We're in the Aquarian age. The rules have all changed. I'm impressed that I talked so long. That was a whole full session. Queenie. Okay, try to have fun without me. Romper room, Kathy Wallace. Why do I remember that? What was romper room? Like, romper room was from when I was a kid. Anyway, okay, we're done with that. Thank you for understanding.